Red Bull's supremacy this season has been remarkably unchallenged. However, the landscape of Formula One is perpetually evolving, and the year 2026 is poised to bring about a seismic shift. Formula One's historical eras are often demarcated by rule modifications, a trend that is conspicuous with each alteration in regulations. Red Bull's present commanding position on the grid provides a telling glimpse into what lies ahead. Curious about the forthcoming 2026 regulations? Intrigued by the reasons why these changes could spell trouble for Red Bull? By now, you're likely well versed in the upcoming 2026 engine regulations set to revolutionize the sport. These regulations herald increased electrical power, sustainable fuels, and the introduction of fresh manufacturers. The prospects are undeniably thrilling, yet enthusiasm doesn't always come devoid of challenges. Although the implementation is still 2.5 years away, the Formula One decision-makers are already directing their attention toward these impending engine adjustments. The evolution doesn't stop in 2026, a significant overhaul of aero regulations is also in the works. Both of these alterations appear poised to hinder Red Bull's performance. However, let's commence with a discussion of the impending engine changes, followed by an exploration of the aero adjustments later in this presentation. The FIA World Motorsport Council greenlit the engine regulations in August 2022, marking the most substantial overhaul since the introduction of the 1.6L V6 turbocharged engines in 2014. The new engine power unit represents yet another stride in F1's journey toward carbon neutrality by 2030, as it emphasizes sustainable practices like increased electrical power and sustainable fuel. This move has garnered the interest of various manufacturers, including Audi and Honda. Come 2026, the grid will feature a contingent of 6 engine manufacturers: Alpine, Audi, Ferrari, Honda, Mercedes, and Red Bull, in collaboration with Ford. These engine regulations essentially align F1 with the trajectory of the broader automotive industry, which is progressively gravitating toward electrification. Nonetheless, recent criticism and suggestions for modifications have surfaced, primarily concerning the 50-50 split between internal combustion engines and electric power. This dichotomy raises concerns about the potential reduction in wheel-to-wheel racing and the necessity for drivers to downshift on straights to regenerate batteries, as pointed out by Christian Horner, the team principal of Red Bull. He contends that minor adjustments could yield substantial effects. In contrast, Toto Wolff, the principal of Mercedes, maintains that the regulations are unlikely to change significantly now that manufacturers are on board. Manufacturers are currently subjecting their engines to rigorous dyno testing, although initial simulations, as indicated by Horner, reveal certain limitations. Horner and Max Verstappen have publicly expressed apprehensions that drivers might need to downshift on straights to replenish battery levels. This maneuver curtails top speed and introduces an unnatural aspect to achieve enhanced battery power. Verstappen explained during an Austrian event, "If you go flat out on the straight at Monza, I don't know, about 400 or 500 meters before the end of the straight, you have to downshift flat out because that's faster." This situation, he argues, isn't conducive to progress. Horner underscores the importance of slightly diminishing reliance on electrical power, emphasizing, "I think that perhaps where we need to pay urgent attention before it's too late is to look at the ratio between combustion power and electrical power to ensure that we're not creating a technical Frankenstein." These engine regulations have been etched in stone for over a year now, and every team grapples with identical challenges. Yet, it's Red Bull who has voiced the most vociferous concerns. Red Bull faces the formidable task of crafting its maiden engine under the new regulations. Unlike other teams with a history of developing road engines or engines for various categories, Red Bull lacks this reservoir of expertise. Consequently, they are compelled to acquire this expertise by enlisting new staff members. Compounding their challenges, Red Bull has chosen to align with a company plagued by a checkered history in electric vehicles, Ford. The cautionary tale of the Ford Lightning, beset by battery fire issues and other related problems, raises questions about entrusting such a company with the crucial electric components of an F1 team. Red Bull's fervent pursuit of electric cars in a bid to catch up with industry trends raises concerns over whether Ford is truly the ideal partner for this endeavor. The 2026 engine regulations are poised to be among the most demanding in F1 history, and Red Bull's setup seems destined to confront greater hurdles in mastering them compared to other teams. However, the changes aren't limited to engines. Formula One car design must also undergo a revolution to accommodate these new power units. Historical precedent suggests that Red Bull might not fare well under these new rules. Le Mans winner Richard Bradley offered a thought-provoking insight, suggesting that the FIA customarily designs rule cycles to disrupt the leading team's dominance. This pattern of targeted disruption, Bradley opines, is discernible throughout F1's history. Teams like Williams and Ferrari, erstwhile dominators, faced similar challenges during regulatory shifts. Remember, it was the 2022 changes that displaced Mercedes from the top spot, giving way to Red Bull's ascendancy. Homologation requirements impeded engine development, leaving Mercedes unable to leverage their engine advantage. Aero changes also worked against Mercedes' low-rake design philosophy, which had previously been instrumental in their dominance. These shifts in regulations favored the high-rake Red Bull design, ultimately leading to Max Verstappen clinching the driver's title. A similar narrative unfolded in 2014 when the introduction of new engine regulations disadvantaged Red Bull, allowing Mercedes to establish their own era of dominance. Prior to this shift, Red Bull and Sebastian Vettel had enjoyed an unbroken run of championship victories. The change in regulations exposed the limitations of Red Bull's partnership with an unreliable and underperforming Renault engine. In 2005, Ferrari faced a comparable setback. Overhauled regulations and a transition to new engines spelled their downfall, culminating in a period of struggle. The shift from V10 to V8 engines and the cessation of tire changes during races dealt a blow to Ferrari's performance. This historical trend of targeting the reigning team with regulation changes led Bradley to assert that the FIA is likely to focus on undermining Red Bull's strengths. So, what is Red Bull's Achilles heel that could be exploited? From an engine perspective, Red Bull's situation appears particularly precarious. Their choice to collaborate with Ford, given the latter's track record in electric vehicles, raises concerns. Red Bull's inexperience in developing road engines or electric powertrains places them at a disadvantage. In terms of aero changes, the exceptional aerodynamic efficiency of Red Bull's car is widely recognized. Notably, when they activate their doctors, they outpace all rivals. It's conceivable that the FIA might scrutinize regulations concerning the rear of the car to curtail Red Bull's advantage in this domain. For those eager to witness a change in the winner's circle, transformation is on the horizon. However, any shift may still be some time away, unless Red Bull can master the intricacies of the new regulations with precision. Do you suspect the FIA will deliberately curtail Red Bull's dominance, or will the alliance between Red Bull and Ford be sufficient to hold them back? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. We're keen to engage in discussions with you. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to remain abreast of forthcoming uploads and stay informed about developments in the 2023 Formula One season.